Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, coming in today with a One Piece video. So the recent One Piece chapters, I'm looking like from 1140 all the way to 1147. They've been fun for me. I've been really enjoying Elbaf to a degree. I hope it's going to be a fast arc. But anyway, I've got a lot of thoughts as we continue going and we get introduced into the God Knights. And since I really haven't done any One Piece review video, I figured we'd come in and I can just talk about my thoughts right here and continue on with the day. So I've got like 3 big ideas that I want to talk through here for anyone that's willing to listen. The first one begins with Killingham. So one of the things with this character, and I'm looking at his introduction from 1140, is that the more we spend time with him, the more I think something is odd here. And I never noticed this at the very beginning, but like a chapter after his introduction, thanks to other people pointing it out, I noticed that he had white clouds around him. The white awakening clouds that are more akin to Luffy's as opposed to the black clouds that we've been seeing on the Gorosei and Rob Lucci. So it's really these clouds that Killingham has on his body that kind of turned me to this idea. And the idea is, what if Killingham is Mousa, the guy that's talking to Loki? I mean, we haven't seen Mousa since the attack happened, right? It's a wild idea, but let me show you this. This is from Sandman, a trusted One Piece translator. So he says that Mousa in Japanese conveys a sense of being hairy, clumsy, unrefined, or lacking sharpness, just like the appearance of his Den Mushi. That's the image we got. But when you look at Killingham, you know, look at his neck, at the base of his neck. That looks pretty shaggy. Look how he arrives. That seems like a really clumsy guy. And I know this is very direct, but he's not a very sharp guy either. He's got a lot of rounded curves. And ultimately, because he has not shown his face, I find that very odd. Staying in Awakening Zoan form must be relatively exhausting, right? It's pretty exhausting for Luffy after all. So when I look at Killingham, I start to wonder that maybe this guy is Mousa. And that means that he is not 100% in with the God Knights in terms of their overall goals. Now, even if Mousa is not Killingham, I do feel that this Mousa character must mean something. Now look, if Mousa and Killingham are one and the same, I think Oda's done a few little things here and there to kind of make it work. One thing I will point to is Saint Killingham being the one to bring up that, hey, we're not here to provoke Luffy. String these things together and I think Oda would have a pretty good narrative to justify Killingham having done more neutral actions as opposed to overly antagonistic. Overall, he is still enabling some pretty terrible stuff, but I think that's just because he has a part to play. The next God Knight I want to cover is Gunko. There's a lot of things about this girl that just, you know, throw me off guard. I'm sure we've all noticed, but she wears the same kind of headgear goggle combo that the Revolutionary Army wears, and that's really, really odd. One thing I also find really odd about her is that she seems to be following the design methodology from Egghead, specifically like the way she wears her underwear, and even like the kind of futuristic looking boots. It makes me feel like, yeah, this is a design that came out of Vegapunk's factory. On top of that, she's also a fan of the Soul King, but that's a very direct thing. I do have like some thoughts about Gunko, and it's fundamentally that she is somehow related to Ginny. I don't know if it's a daughter, I don't know if it's a clone. I think it would be a clone more likely than not, because if it's a clone, the clones have shown that they carry some kind of weird predisposition based on their originals. And so with Ginny, I feel like this hat and goggles, that could be something, right? Like a weird little connection there. Of course, her being bandaged means that there's like some kind of hidden identity. There's a lot of things going on with her. And I also think with the way that her hair colored, that could be something pointing to, again, the connection with Ginny and Bonnie by extension. I do wonder what they're going to ultimately do for her. And I feel like she's getting so much character development that she must be relevant beyond this arc. That's the only thing I could say. Now, moving into the chapter where we see her battle, there are some interesting things, and like right now people are really talking about like how strong is this woman. Right now I think she is surviving because of how good her devil fruit is, how versatile it is. But there was one thing that caught me off in chapter 1146. Specifically, the first person she targets is Usopp. And interestingly, Usopp is the first one that gets a good shot in on her and blows off her upper half. It kind of made me believe that perhaps Gunko, she has a problem dealing with fast, small projectiles. In the same chapter, she was able to deal with Zeus, but here Usopp was able to get in a clear hit. I hope that we get to see Usopp contribute to her defeat, because it would just it would just justify why we see her going after Usopp so hard and not anyone else in that first moment. Of course, if Usopp's fast-moving projectiles can get her, that means that Luffy probably could get her with a simple jet gatling or something like that. Now, is there anything else really to say about Gunko? There is right now, Oda's setting something strange up with Brook. Like in chapter 1147, we have Brook saying, that woman, no, it couldn't be. And this is already after he's acknowledged he knows what the God Knights are and identified Gunko as a God Knight. For that segment, I could only really guess that maybe Brook has seen her at one of his concerts before, or he got some kind of weird fan letter before. Also, worth pointing out in this chapter, in this panel I got on the screen with the Straw Hats tied up, I do like that Jinbei is still calm enough to try and figure out the ability, just further showing how powerful that ability is. Now, there was one more interesting thing that happened in chapter 1147, and no, it wasn't just Brook getting stepped on by this lady. It was this moment where Gunko shows pain after hitting Brook. Some people were thinking that that's like maybe some kind of side effect of her using her power or the regen power or something like that. Right now, I really want to believe that she's just hurt, that she's hurting her idol pretty much. This is the person who sings the music that she likes listening to, right? That's what I currently think about her. But yeah, those are the big thoughts that I have right now for the recent chapters of One Piece. I have a few more theories about things going on in the background, but I'm gonna leave that for another time. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day. And of course, let me know what you thought down below about any of these ideas, and if you have any ideas yourself.